Listen, I just can't tell you how excited I am about this particular show. As you can tell, I have some amazing guests. I call it a holiday streaming summit or something like that, but we're all here together. So I'm going to start with this young lady. Which side is she's on? I can't get the pointing thing right. This hand. There you go. Miss
There you go.
Eden, do you mind introducing yourself tonight?
Hi everyone, I am Eden from Camo. Just Eden, but you guys mostly know me from Camo.
Yes, we do.
I've I've been doing podcasting since 2017 and live streaming for the last two or 3 years, and I'm just so honored and excited to be here in this glowing company. This lineup we got tonight. What is this? How did I sneak my way onto here? I don't even know. So.
Of course, we hung out at Creator Camp, and I have an interview with you the whole nine. We did a video together, and you said, "Hey, we need to collab on something." So I took you up on it.
Always.
So I said, "Hey,
Yes.
this will be a great time." To be honest with you, I called Kevin. Kevin said yes. I hit up Jeff. Jeff said yes, and I hit up Louise. And if you can tell by the bottom of this screen, I needed to do something else.
You needed
to
someone that didn't have a beard. I know.
Yeah,
Just
somebody else to
There
join
you
the hair
go.
club for men.
There you go. There you go. I told him earlier, for whatever reason, the top half of the screen looks a little better than the bottom half. But that being said, Kevin, I'll go to you right now to kind of introduce yourself to say hello to everybody.
And by the way, Eden, Strick made me pay to be on the show, so we may need to talk later off camera here.
oh, okay, yeah. We can
So
connect. We
my
can
credit
connect.
card went through. So yeah, my name's Kevin Colby. I'm a solo content creator. I like just helping other people create. Spent a long time in radio and a long time in TV. Been doing YouTube. Well, according to YouTube, I've been doing it since 2017. I had a channel before that I deleted like a dork. So don't do that. But written a book. Like to do just cool stuff, mostly video, and big fan of Strick. So I'm so pumped to be here with you guys.
And of course, you know I'm a big fan of Kevin Colby too. You know what I'm saying? Look,
You're nice.
There you go.
hey, dude, I didn't get it autographed. Like, how do I get it like personally autographed? There's no autograph in here. What do I need to do?
Well, I'll send you my stamp. You stamp it on there. So we'll
Okay.
talk. You know.
We'll talk. And I got Jeff here with us tonight. Jeff, how are you doing?
Good. I need to get Kevin to. I read all my books on Kindle, and I've had people ruin my iPad screen. They use the marker that won't come off, so it just doesn't work when they autograph them. But yeah, I'm Jeff C. I host the Social Media News live show on Fridays. I need to get all you guys on the show for the next year, by the way. So I'm just putting that out there right now. Need to come on it because
Let's
we
do
have a lot
it.
of fun over there. Yeah,
You do, and it's not Friday, and you're live streaming.
I know. I was like, it's just been such a weird week. I didn't know. I guess I decided to. First Strick, I do. Even though I don't know if we'll have to. If you were there at Ecamm Creator Camp, let me know who won the bowling because I think I beat Strick at least one game.
I don't think that happened. Jeff.
I
don't.
do. I really
So-
do because I didn't make.
So
that
to be
up.
honest with you, we both lost the game.
it was we were not good. I'll tell you that much. None of us.
I think
were.
it was Steve Hicks. I think that's what his name was. Is Steve. So
Yeah.
he may be watching out. So
Yeah.
I was very good, just to be honest with you.
You were.
I just-
You
I
had
just
style.
lost.
I'll give you that. You had style. You had
I'll
probably
take
the
it.
more style than everybody. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Your
I'll
own little
take that.
dance. Little dance there.
Well, we
You guys need
appreciate
to
you hanging
stream
out
that
with
next
us
time so we
tonight.
can watch it.
Yeah. So we did record it. I had it was Kirk there recording it, so it is
Oh,
what
yeah.
it is. It's out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm doing a clinic on how to bowl and still not win the game. And I'm still bowling and not winning games. So but I talk a lot, just
Oh.
don't win.
It was good. It was a fun time. It was good.
It
Creator
was
Camp
great.
was awesome.
It was great. And Kirk is in the comments saying the
Put it
giddy
in the
up.
comments.
The giddy up. That's right.
Louise, you didn't go bowling with us. I think that maybe you were on the ghost tour or something like that.
No, I had Aiden with me, so I decided to sit down and relax, and I did the wine tasting where there was not a lot of movement and everything was catered to me, so that way I can enjoy the time the most.
The wine tasting. I get it.
Yeah, I couldn't even get Strick to give me a piece of pizza. So that was That was nice that someone catered to you.
What do you mean? We had a lot of pizza that night.
But you wouldn't go get it for me. I was like, hey, while you're there, why don't you pick me up a slice? Like, no way, man. I'm bowling.
That's funny and absolutely not true because all we had to do was just turn around. A table full of food was behind us. I thought it was the best thing, but I'm like a germaphobe. So I wasn't like feeling bowling and then eating. So I had to go and wash my hands in between bowls just so I can pick up a slice of pizza. But that's just me, you know?
He wouldn't like, I mean, our game took so long because every time he'd have to wipe every ball down in the lane and then the seat where he sat down on. Oh my, it was like the Rain Man was there with us.
It's like Monk goes bowling.
Listen, you guys are giving me a hard time. Please don't do that. Don't do that. And I want to apologize ahead of time. You know, I was really working on setting up this whole show, and Ecamm has this really cool thing of what we call the preview mode, where I could go in and change everything up and make it look nice and bright for our comments. I'm not doing that today. I'm just going to go to comments and fix the screen so you guys will see it live and in person, me fixing this so everybody could be on at one time. So don't hold it against me, all right?
That's the best way to do things. That's the best way to do things.
It is. So I am going to leave this here because we do have another guest coming in really soon. But I want to go to the comments. We call this a summit. James Hicks was hanging out with us last week. Thank you so very much. Let's get it. Tonight is going to be a good one. And then this young lady is hanging out with us tonight. Equip Institute says, hey, James, okay. And she's talking to him. Kimberly G is out here. Okay, come out of the green room. I guess she's talking to Jared. Man, thank you so very much for hanging out. Yes, what a bunch of rock stars, excluding me. If you take me out, man, I'm telling you, we're doing a great job. Eden is busy. I'm shocked and impressed you got her. Yes, that was a big deal. Actually, she said she would come on, so I'm glad that she did. Okay, I get it. He's talking to us. Hey, fam, I'm here. Let's go. Valerie, thank you so very much for being here with us tonight. And yes, so very cool. Congratulations on your book, Kevin. So you guys, if you hadn't got it yet, go to Amazon and pick up that book. Richard is here. Thank you, Richard, for hanging out. And what did I do? You have the best people on your show. Yes. She's talking about you guys, man. I'm really feeling it. Like this is some good stuff. And hello all. Erica, thank you for hanging out with us. I used to blame everything on my son too. Louise, keep me out of trouble. So I guess Valerie would have to go to the wine tasting as well. Everybody's looking happy on camera. Happy holidays. They are really looking good on camera. And preview mode is the devil. It is not the devil. I just don't want to do it. So I would have actually it worked out because I kind of put things where I wanted them to be. And then we have guest number 5 here that is going to be coming. I just didn't want someone to see the summit there and think this is not summit-ist. You know, it's missing something. It's not as crisp as a summit, but hey, we're all here together anyway, and Tatiana is here, and that's what's more important. Micah's even here. Thank you, Micah, for hanging out with us. Guys, this is really, really cool. Let me see if I can still hit the right button. There we go. I got the right one on, and I almost missed this, but I got to go back because normally he doesn't have time to hang out with me, but he's here. Mr. Doc Rock, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And I know that this says DJ Strick is the best host ever in Japan. Japanese. I know that that's what that says. So thank you for that great comment. Exactly. Okay. All right, guys. So as we're going into this new year, let's reflect. I want to start with a question tonight for everybody. And Jeff, I'll start with you answering this question, then we'll kind of go around, I guess, clockwise or counterclockwise. So Jeff, Louise, Eden, and then I'll end with you, Kevin. Thinking about this last year, 2023, could you share like maybe a moment where there was something that happened unexpected, whether it was a challenge or something that was really good that you did not foresee that kind of changed the way you actually produce content for 2023?
I would say, I mean, it started maybe a little bit before that, but for me, the thing that has taken off, and I know we'll talk about tonight, is the AI stuff, the tools. That for me has like opened up stuff that I did not like to do. Like most of us here do video and podcasting, and a lot of times there's a lot of stuff you have to do with it. Like for me, show notes. I hated doing show notes. I just oh my gosh. Before my show on Thursday, I'd have to write an email and all this stuff. And now it's like I have an assistant that I can do all this stuff with, and combined with some tools like I'm a big fan of Descript. We use it for Guy Kawasaki's podcast. I use it for my show for all the repurposing, and it's just made it so much easier, and it lets me be more creative because I have more time to do stuff. So I think we're probably all going to be talking about that even next year.
That's so right, Jeff, and I feel the same way. Doc in a comment says that your unexpected or great surprise was seeing him at Creator Camp, and I guess that's for all of us. Kevin didn't make it this year. Hopefully one year Kevin can come hang out with us. Creator Camp was cool, and seeing Doc in person again was also cool. Louise, how about you, sir? Mr. Camera Junkie himself, what was something that was kind of unexpected for you, whether it was a surprise or something that made you change the way you created content in 2023?
I'm gonna have to piggyback on what Jeff just said, because that was the most impactful thing for me as well. And he summed it up perfectly of saying, Chat GPT and a variety of different, options that you have as far as AI tools. I call Chat GPT Chad. So I always reference to that as Chad, and I go, I'm just gonna ask Chad, and I use him literally like an assistant. And for basically everything that I kind of dislike doing or that ends up being tedious as a content creator. So whether it's for my own content, I now use Descript to like download a transcription of everything in my video, whether it's a live stream or something that I pre-recorded. Then I throw that right into ChatGPT and ask it to give me, suggestive titles that are, SEO friendly and also like click worthy, like not clickbaity, but click worthy, that actually have, some backing to the information that I just give it or that is going to be in the video. So someone doesn't feel cheated when they actually do click through. And a variety of different aspects in that, even so much that I've asked Chad to make the chapters for me. And when it does, it actually gives me the information with the timestamps already in place, the way that YouTube wants to see them. And it's as simple as like copy and paste over, and it has taken so much of the tedious work that is required as a content creator and shaved like 90% of the time that it would take off of that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, of course, Mr. Camera Junkie, Louise, I know a lot about some of the work that you've done over the years, and you work with Ecamm kind of behind the scenes doing a lot of editing. Am I right in saying this is kind of like year 2 for you working with Ecamm behind the scenes?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
What have you learned in that experience? Because, doing something, especially behind the scenes and doing all the edits, year 2 is different from year 1. Like, you're so excited about doing it, and now you have to put systems in place to make it easier because you want to, do some other things. How has the experience of 2 years changed how you do the work?
Oh, that's very interesting, because the things that have changed most is the comfort level that both I and Ecamm have grown together in our relationship. So year 1 is a lot of feeling out process, right? There's a lot of more back and forth when it came to the edits, because I'm putting my creative ideas onto the platform, and then giving it up to them to critique to see if this is what they want the message to be. And then
Gotcha.
after, a couple of times, like just with any person that you would have a conversation, you tend to have the rapport that you have with someone. And that is the same, like, it's almost like saying the inside baseball or the inside conversation that you have with a personal friend or relationship, where you might have inside jokes, right? Because it's
Right.
experiences that you guys have lived together. And the same has to go with the clients as well. So we've grown together with enough experiences that now they also have the confidence in me that when they assign a project that they need done, they're not kind of double and triple checking, because of the simple fact that I already know the Ecamm language and what they're expecting out of their videos. And because of it, it saves a lot of time, because I'm able to, produce a piece of content, and I still am giving it up for critique to say, hey, if there's anything that needs to be changed, let me know.
That's awesome.
But it's gotten to the point where it's like I send them over something and they're just like, perfect, we love it. And the next thing you know, before I even blink, it's up on the platforms and it's already being, like, pumped out. So that's the most fulfilling part, that I can say that after 2 years, we're reaching that level of like trust where it's like really starting to snowball.
That's awesome, man. It's great to hear. It's great to hear. There's nothing like having some experience under your belt, especially working with a team like the Ecamm team. So, Eden, let me ask you the same question. Anything unexpected happened or surprising happened that changed the way you created content going forward?
Yeah, so I actually have a funny answer to this. Is this year I had to create content on a Windows PC. I am
Mm.
a
So, say that again now.
What is
it's
that?
You
you know
create
those.
content on a win. Okay, I'm so sorry
Yeah.
to hear that.
Do you know? Do you guys have like these giant rectangle things on your wall somewhere, and it lets you look outside? It's called the window.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's also the name of an operating system. Who knew? I don't know. It's been
Who
around
never
for
heard of
ages.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I think it's
You learn
fad.
something new.
so. I honestly did not expect for things to be as difficult as they were, but it's the little things, keyboard shortcuts, like just your things that you're used to in your workflow.
Right.
Taking a screenshot without, like, how do you take a screenshot on Windows without losing quality? If
Mm.
anyone knows the answer, please tell me, because I use Clean Shot on Mac and I could not find the equivalent on Windows. And I would just want to really say, like, bless up to our friends that are cross-platform. Descript really has, a couple of you guys have mentioned Descript already. Luckily, there are a bunch of tools that are cross-platform that made it bearable to learn how to create content on an operating system that I just had no familiarity with. And
Mm.
it was actually a huge learning experience, and I'm like, I don't know how Windows people do this. I have nothing against people that use Windows. I know this is a very Mac heavy crowd. We're Ecamm
Of
fam here,
course, of course.
but it was a lot harder than I expected it to be. Like, it was definitely an unexpected challenge. And I overcame it with a lot of Googling and a lot of cursing at the computer, a lot of just like, why isn't this one tool available? Why did we need to change the keyboard shortcut to just something slightly different and it's not in the exact same place? So I don't recommend this as an experience, but you will learn a lot from it. And as some of us, remote producers, you might one of these days have to work with a client that asks you to do things on a PC. So I say I don't recommend it, but really I do, because it was a great learning experience for me.
Completely understand, and we all have to be professional sometimes and do what the client asks us to do, even though we would probably sway them a different way, but completely understand. And it will build a different type of muscle for you as well and make you think a little harder. How about you, Kevin? Anything that has kind of changed your content creation, something unexpected or surprising in 2023?
Yeah, I mean, I'll jump on the AI thing. I mean, it is what it is. I think there's times I got a little too reliant on it. thinking it was perfect, and it wasn't. Sometimes it was funny. I enjoyed using Bard, and I still use Bard, and I mean, I've taken things to Bard, taken things to Chat GPT, and sometimes what you get is completely different. I do think Bard having integrated YouTube recently is really cool, because now you can actually you can go a little deeper even with Bard and the YouTube research. It's helped me, excuse me, it's helped me ideate, I think, faster on thumbnails. I mean, there's been a couple of times it's like, I'm looking at a blank piece of paper and I'm like, well, maybe I should use that as my thumbnail because that's the best idea I've got. And I would go there and kind of describe it, and it would come up with something. I'm like, oh, dang, I didn't think about that. Not creating it, but just throwing out that idea. Because I mean, I'm me. I'm a team of me. And so it helps sometimes in bouncing that back and forth. And the other thing I try and do is I don't try and come back, give me 25 titles. I've got undiagnosed ADD and all the other A things. And I'm just like, yeah, that's too many things to look at. So I tend to start smaller. Give me 5 titles or give me 5 ideas or something like that. Then it's like, ooh, I kind of like this one or I don't like that one. So but yeah, I mean, AI is just cool.
I completely agree about the AI. And I think we talked about this on the last show. So everybody's watching. You have to watch last week's show with James Hicks and Alec Johnson. And we talked about how AI is going to be a trend for 2024. It's definitely been a trend for 2023, but we're going to see more and more AI software applications come out. That's really going to change. I've really been doing a deep dive after our last show, and I am really, really excited about some of the tools that I've found, and to be able to just be a little better. And some tools are working out and some tools are not working out so well. But, once you find something that works, I say try your best to figure out a system around it that you can use it over and over again to kind of be efficient in your work. Now, for me, last year I learned something, and I talked about this before, but it was a great lesson. I hit a brick wall in the summertime, guys, with creating content, especially this show. So the show is Sunday nights. My wife's career, it started to really blossom right before the pandemic. And then the pandemic happened, and of course she's a jazz flutist, so we didn't do anything for 2 years. So after the pandemic, all the shows that kind of got canceled, rebooked, and she had more bookings based off of her popularity. So we went into 2022 and then 2023 with just dates and dates and dates and dates, which is a great thing. I don't go on all of them, but the summertime we traveled a lot, and I really got overwhelmed with all of the travel and all of the work. Not that it was hard, but if you ever travel several weekends in a row and you're here and you're back, it's not a vacation. I promise you, just because you're traveling is work, and it really wasn't a vacation. And Sunday nights, I just couldn't do it. I absolutely could not do the show. Not only have I not planned with guests, I didn't have anything to talk about. So from June to basically August, the stream show was down. I said, that won't happen again. Let's figure out how we do this. So we did a planning session a couple of shows ago, but I did that because I had the revelation of, guess what? Why are we thinking about doing 52 weeks of shows streaming? Like, why would you do that? So I figured out that I could actually do a system of shows and have several seasons inside of the year, knowing that in the summertime, June and most of June, most of July, guess what? The stream show will be down, and we'll come back closer to the fall with new shows. We're still probably do 40 shows next year, but we're nowhere close to our mind of saying every Sunday we're going to be on. Like, it's just not going to happen. And I think it's smart learning that lesson now because we want to continue to go, but we wanted to go with the audience knowing when we would be on. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Strick. So I actually I'm very curious to hear, like, what would you feel like is one of the biggest lessons that you learned during the time that you were off for? Because I feel like we all, we know what the value of consistency is, and like taking a break is actually like it's so much harder than people think it is because for a lot of people it just feels like, oh, they get a break, they're just not going to be at the computer for a couple of weeks. But as people, like, you're a creator, you serve your audience. So like I'm just curious to see, like, to hear, like, sort of what did you reflect on, and like what was like your biggest takeaways from the time that you took off, because it sounds like it was a new experience for you taking a break.
Well, it definitely was a new experience. And the biggest part was I felt really bad about not communicating to my audience. All right. Not communicating that, hey, I'm going to be off these times. And that's really the difference. The only difference is, we're going to do 10 shows. I'm going to tell you the shows that we're going to be on or when we're going to be there. It's all going to be planned out with the guest or theme, topic, all of that. So I would have most of the year planned out and also at a place where the audience would know when I'm on and when I'm not on. So if you don't tell your audience you're going to be gone for 4 weeks, the expectation of you coming back, like, they have no expectation. So you I had to rebuild the trust of the audience. This is why I'm on now. Like, we're on in December on the 17th. A lot of people are taking off. I wanted to stay on because I feel like I'm still rebuilding the trust with the stream show audience. And I wanted to keep it going. Now, moving forward in 2024, I'm going to tell the audience exactly when we're going to be on. And of course, even now, there will not be an expectation 52 weeks in 2024 that the stream show will be on. So it was a hard lesson to learn. I felt bad. I was personally overwhelmed and tired. And I felt bad that that I didn't communicate well to my audience. Has anybody else had an experience like that where they kind of felt like, okay, it was my fault?
That it was your fault that you're what? It's all your fault.
My fault that I wasn't on and didn't communicate, and I was feeling overwhelmed, but I didn't do a good job of communicating that to the audience. So when we're saying be consistent, because that's the big thing, but I think that we started off telling people to be consistent. So we're going to be on every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And I don't think that's that's when you plan to be live, but there are going to be some Tuesdays where you're going to be off. So also telling people, hey, in 2 weeks, or we're going to do these 10 episodes, or at some point you're going to be off so the audience knows that it is every Tuesday, but for this block of time.
What I think what you have learned was that you're doing seasons. That's the system that's going to work for you, is doing seasons. Right. Like for me, I do every 10 o'clock Central every Friday. But when I need to take a break, I pre-record a show. And I tell my audience that it's going to be pre-recorded. And then I'll bring on a guest or do something like that. So we haven't, when I moved and I started my own show 3 years ago, we've pretty much gone every week. I think maybe once or twice we've had one I think I didn't do one when I was at Creator Camp, but I let people know about it. But most of the time, if I'm gone, I pre-record it. Now it stinks. Like, I get really jealous of my friend Eric Fisher, who has this huge podcast, and he's like batched out probably till like March next year. You're a jerk, but but he has that. He's built that in because that's the way he does things, and other people do the same thing. So you can do seasons, and I think that's great. I mean, you have to find a system that works so you don't get burnt out.
So the thing that I found, because I've tried to pre-record some stuff and even do like a premiere or whatever, and the traction of having a live show and then going to these comments, I just feel like the stream show audience loves that, and to not have it kind of takes away from what the show is all about.
Yeah.
So
you have to know your audience. I think you got to know your audience.
Got to know your audience. If I don't have Luis's Mr. Camera Junkie's name on the comments, nobody's watching, nobody's watching.
I know.
All right, so let me go to the comments really quick here. So first thing I want to say is Lala is hanging out with us today. So she's saying, hello, fam. Good to see you tonight. And then Dana says, I've never used ChatGPT. I wonder if anyone else can say that. Dan, come on, man. Just put your name in there and ask it um, who is Dan, and see what it says. Like, just try it. Just try it. I don't know if that will work.
Yeah,
or
you gotta
anything.
try
Break
it
the
on
internet.
for morbid curiosity at this point, just to
Like, what is
see what.
everybody talking about? That
Yeah.
kind of thing, and including, Kevin said, what's that? Bart? Is that the Google one?
Yeah, Google Bard. Yeah.
So, AI cannot create a live show like this, Chris. No, it can't, and it would be so much better polished if AI did it, because.
I don't
Oh my
know.
goodness,
I don't
we're,
know.
we're 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 trying to do it. Have you seen some of that AI art that they have, where you type it in, even Mid-Journey or Dolly 3,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like weird stuff? Like, that didn't
But
work.
you can it's getting so good. Like we use it now for all our blog posts. We use Midjourney, or now because of ChatGPT 4, it's integrated into it, and it is amazing the stuff you can make. It's really cool.
Was that text to image?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then the newest thing, because I just did a thing about this for Agora Pulse, is we actually took the images and you're able to animate them with Runway ML, which is really cool. It's amazing stuff.
I need to see what you got going on, man. It just sounds like you're using it the right way.
I'm like
Where am I at
Frankenstein.
here? Frankenstein, that's what it is.
Yes,
So
this is gonna
Roy is
get me.
hanging out with us. Being a roadie in the band gets. I guess so. I guess it can be, Roy. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I know that's coming from something and also more to y'all from the future. So Lala is in the future. And then I have a question here. Can I get Mrs. Strick and Valerie to do a collab?
Ooh.
Okay, Valerie, we're going to see what we can do. She's telling him to be quiet. Valerie, you just never
Yes,
know.
let's
I
do
have an
it.
amazing voice and jazz flute super. Hey, you just never know. A couple of weeks away from my computer, I can't do a day, let alone a week. I have to let the computer go every now and again, guys. I really
Me
do. I
too.
don't want to,
Yeah.
but it's the best thing to do. I took a hiatus and I did not tell my community. So thank you, Roy, because everybody else on the panel here had me on an island by myself. Like, they never did that. But hey, it is what it is. I did not want to do that. But hey, man, greetings from Germany. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We got more greetings. Be clear. You have to let people know what's up, but you also have to be kind to yourself. Lala agrees with that, and so do I.
Yeah.
Let me be honest with you guys. It was really, really hard during the summertime. That feeling of letting people down was a big, big deal. All right. And let me say this. Awesome Wood Things. Awesome found Mary. So Merry Christmas to everybody. And I do want to say this. I haven't said it, but I have this TV going on beside me where I have like the show going on, and you guys look great in 4K. I just want to say that. I did not know. So everybody that's watching, I am still running a Mac Mini M1, the 8 gig on the show tonight. So once the next guest comes on, we'll see how it handles 6 people. But I will tell you, I have turned off the isolated video. So I'm not recording isolated video or audio. So it's just running the interview modes. That's what Ecamm is running right now. And I'm running the latest beta version. Okay? I'm running the latest beta version, so I want everybody to know that. So we'll see how it goes. I think I was on Louise. I was on your show, and how many did we have on at one time?
Oh yeah, we kind of maxed out my computer because I messed up. And that was that I'm used to recording, isolated video for all of my cameras. And on my live stream, I have 4. Who would have guessed as a camera? But when I started bringing people on, it's recording all 4 of my cameras, or 3 of them, and every single guest that I had on. And I brought up to 9. So it was like 9 plus 3. So it was like 12 streams of 4K that my computer was recording at the same time. And it was like,
Dang.
if it had a fist, it would have punched me in the face for what I was doing.
That's funny.
All the cores was screaming at me like, what are you doing? And even the computer itself was giving me like this pop-ups of like, we cannot generate all the ISO images. And I'm like, I know I messed up. So like, even when we were having a conversation, the entire time I'm playing a game of like turn this little notification off the entire time. And I'm like, click, click, click. So it was fun, but we had 9 plus myself, so 10 people on the screen at once, and that was max.
Wow.
That was a lot of
It was a lot of fun, but it definitely maxed it. And I was worried. I thought I was going to have to buy a new computer for this show, but I didn't. That being said, can we join another guest into the show? I want to
Let's
do
do
that right
it.
now. Let's see if we can add another guest to the show tonight. If I can figure out how to do this. I thought I did. There we go. There he is.
Hey, hey.
Yo.
What is
It's the
going
man.
on? You guys are having way too much fun out here. Way
Yes.
too much fun.
Yes, a lot of fun tonight. So we asked a question, and I'll end the question with you. Anything happened in 2023 that surprised you, Kurt, or good or bad, to
Yeah.
make you change how you create in going forward?
I did. I started scripting my intros and outros for my YouTube videos. That wasn't something I would do. I'm much better, kind of live, kind of off the cuff. I have my bullet points and just kind of go for it. And I feel like that's a good strength for me, but just what I wanted to do with my content, my produced content, I really wanted to nail that hook and nail that segue as I'm trying to point them to another video or point them to my course or whatever it is. So I started scripting my intros and outros, and that has been a game changer. When you follow people like Kevin Colby, man, you gotta up your game, man.
Got to figure it out, brother.
Just gotta figure it out.
He
So
is. and he's shaking his head. Listen, like
now, shout out to the legends on the live tonight, because this is an all-star cast. I don't even know what I'm doing
It
here.
really
This
is.
is great, man. This is great.
It really is. And now I can still say what I said earlier. The top of the screen looks better than the bottom of the screen.
Now I will agree with you. Yes.
I will agree with
I'm
you.
not going to
I
fight
will
you on
agree
this.
with you. I just hope you know that you're up there. I don't know.
Thank you
if
for the
knew that.
promotion.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So,
What's going on?
So tonight, this is I'm calling it a summit, but we're just all kind of hanging out and trying to do the best thing that we can to talk about some things that may have happened to us personally, get ready for the holidays, and do that for the people that are watching tonight. So big shouts out to Mr. Kevin Cox is hanging out with us. He's saying hello to everybody. And I do want to say this, that Paul, Mr. Moderator, is hanging out with us. He says, you have to keep in mind, it's not your community. You are there for your people. You serve them. Now, this is a comment that I've heard time and time again, and as a coach, I try to repeat it to people as well, making sure that as we create, we're creating with the people in mind. Like, I am serving them. I always teach, like, if you have a niche, your niche should be answering a question or helping people in some kind of way. Now, Kevin, you've been producing, I guess I'll do this again. Like, you have this book coming out.
love
You've
it.
been producing videos on a constant basis. When you go into your lab to say, hey, what is my next piece of content? What is your system of figuring that out?
Yeah, that's good.
I get a lot of my ideas, I guess, from Facebook groups. I've kind of joked that I feel like it's the new Google, that people will just ask questions in there. And some of those questions that have been asked, and I'm like, that's interesting. And a lot of times, I mean, one of my bigger videos is one I figured everybody knew, and then I looked and like, well, people are asking the question, and so I did a video on it, and I just tried to stick to the question that was being asked and not throw a lot of other junk in there that I can do a lot of times. In editing, it's really nice when I can cut a lot of me out when I realize, what the heck was I saying? It sounded good at the time, and now it didn't mean anything in the edit. So I mean, I mean, ultimately, a lot of my content is how to, which is okay. Teaching is one of my gifts. And so if I can help somebody do something where it really resonates with me, and I agree with Paul. I mean, it's easy to think that it's my audience. It's not. I mean, I don't deserve any of this. Anybody who watches a video, I'm happy with that. But when somebody comments on a video, it doesn't even matter how old it is, it's like, wow, this is exactly what I was looking for, or I didn't know that. It's like, you know what? Then that kind of validates that, okay, then you're helping somebody, which is really what it's about. So that's my long-winded answer.
I think it's really cool, Jeff. Kevin is always so very humble and modest about what he does. I mean, he puts a video out, tons of people watch. You know, you actually work with, help produce a podcast and have your own creations that you do. When you're putting together a podcast or doing your own work, what is the end goal in mind for you?
The paycheck. No, no, it's Kevin said. Kevin said like helping people, and no, so I love what Kevin does. But yeah, for me, I've always had the philosophy, and I've argued with people about it. I would rather lose business than the relationship. So most of the people on my show are friends of mine, people I've met at conferences who I respect, or they've said something that I'm like, I want to dig into that deeper. And I've always loved. I was a horrible student, but I love learning. And so I love like diving in. Like when you talked about your wife's a jazz flutist. And I'm like, oh, I would love to talk about her creative process and have you on there. How does it feel like to be, so my mind's always going like that. So my thing is trying to give my audience, they're beside me on this journey as you're going. And that's why I love doing live stuff is like,
me too.
I love pulling up those comments. And I know Chris Stone, who's in the audience, like he and I just talked the other day about stuff at the script. And I know like Gary Stockton, who's always on my show. He's a musician as well and produces music. That's what I love is seeing the audiences and having those little pieces that I know about people and bringing them together. And that's, somebody joked about it, AI, I was Chris, that AI could never do this. That's why podcasters and what we do, we're safe. AI can't do that. Yeah, there's no way that they can do that. And so I think as we go, I don't know, I'm going on a rant, but anyway, as we go into the future, I think that companies who need to connect with their audiences, which all of them do, that people are going to not trust the written word as much as they have in the past, but they will trust what we're doing here. Gotcha. And I think everybody in the audience with the Ecamm fam who is learning how to do this, like this is future proof and stuff in the future for making content. So anyway, I think it's exciting time. I don't know what the question was, but
I think that's definitely well put. I was thinking of talking about the end in mind when you start doing your content. But I want to say this just before I ask the next question. We have several people watching. Everybody that has answered a question or talked has said something meaningful. If they have, like if you believe what I believe that they said something meaningful, I need you to do me a favor. Click the like button. Let Ecamm know that this show is impacting you. It's the Holiday Stream Summit. Like we're summiting together. And the idea is maybe we could do something here on screen that will encourage you in whatever you're doing. That being said, the show looks better because Eden is hanging out with us today.
Yeah.
Eden, could you tell us a little bit more about the content that you produce?
Yeah, sure. So I mostly these days do content for Camo. So I host and produce our live streams. I do 2 different types of shows. One is like an office hours live stream, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to get Kirk on for my January show.
Let's go.
Get him.
And I also have a Camo classroom show, which is like one of more like this. I like to have a full panel of people and I get to moderate and facilitate the conversation and not actually have to say anything because I get experts on to do that part for me. So yeah, that's sort of the content that I do these days, and I'm happy to elaborate and share a little bit more about any of it if you have any questions.
Well, I just like the fact that the partnership that Camo and Ecamm has,
Yeah, it's
because
good.
basically at one point it was the main way that you could actually connect your iPhone to Ecamm or your computer, your Mac, to be able to display another
Any
camera.
phone,
Like, it was the
any
best
phone, not
way.
any phone, not just iPhone. I just want to point
Well,
that out.
thank you,
That's
Kirk.
right.
Any phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of
Yep.
us who have both, I have both. So
We're cross-platform compatibility, and Kirk, on that point, I just want to say, like, if anyone is like lost in their streaming journey, or is ever just like, I feel like I need a little motivation, I actually, Kirk's channel, I'm like, that's how I stay on top of
That's
things. I'm
awesome.
like, I look at what
That's
Kirk is up
awesome.
to, I check out what tools Kirk is using, and that's how that's my cheat code, is actually Kirk. Kirk Nugent, he's the cheat
oh
code.
my gosh, I love that.
Y'all think I'm playing? I'm not kidding at all.
No,
Like,
I am trying my
man.
best to hit the M button. I think
on.
that's the marker. So, Kirk, you can have that, sir. I'll make
need
sure
it.
you
I need
get
it.
it.
I need it.
So
That's so
Kirk
good, man.
has text Eden while we were on the show. Hey, give me a shout out. She did it. Make sure you give her the cash out so the transaction is handled.
That's correct. Oh my gosh, that is so good. I just want to say real quick, I was listening while I was standing at baggage claim waiting for my bags. The flight arrived early, and then we just waited all the time that we got in early. We just waited that time for the bags to arrive. What was the point of arriving early? If anyway, that's a whole nother story for another time. Wonder if AI can help us with baggage claim. But you guys were talking about different, Strick talked about being able to take the break from the show and stuff like that, and how do you stay consistent. This summer, I think I shared this maybe once before, I'm not certain, but this summer, Luria asked me to do a takeover on her channel, and I'm telling you, that was a lot of fun. We had a conversation prior to, so it's not like I just went in cold and just decided to do whatever I wanted to do. We talked about a topic that would serve her audience well, and would scratch an itch. And I think that's also the community piece, the community aspect of what we do, these kinds of friendships and relationships that we have. Don't take that for granted either. There is definitely some cross. I don't want to say pollination, but there's some definitely crossover in terms of our overlap is the term I want to use. Overlap in terms of our audiences, and there are things that I would love to get Kevin in front of my audience to say. The stuff that I'd love to get Jeff in front of my audience to say. Strick and I, we kind of are test driving out this little partnership here. I absolutely love it. Being on a stream show,
it's great.
And just kind of going toe to toe with him every week. It doesn't quite work out for me. I've got a couple of black eyes, but doing that partnership piece, going back and forth with folks, and giving people, there's the personal, the one person personality, and then there's the shared personality, right? There's the team thing, and then if the team thing works, there's that piece of it as well that people resonate with. So one of the ways to stay consistent, one of the ways to be able to get over the hump of trying to figure out 52 shows a year, that could be leaning on your community, leaning on those partnerships, looking into some creative and unique ways where you can still have that experience, make sure you're serving that audience, and making sure you're making good on that value proposition, but it doesn't necessarily have to be you. So keep that in mind as well. I just wanted to kind of interject. I know that part of the show and the conversation kind of flew by, but I just wanted to kind of catch up on that part as well. So much good things being shared here tonight, man. I'm excited for this panel. Yeah,
it really is. That being said, let me go to our comments really quick, because we do have people kind of talking in here, and I want to pull up one that, Jeff is new to the team. And checking in from Connecticut, first time watching the Sunday night. Thank you so very much for checking us out tonight. Currently on a 14-day free trial, and most likely getting the standard version soon. So let me say this. I'll say this. I mean, I could say a lot. I guess, Louise, you could talk to him about, the way Ecamm works and what he could get out of this, and definitely the difference between the standard and the pro plan to kind of help Jeff out. Again, Jeff, thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
Do you want me to talk about
Yeah,
them?
if you don't mind, just real quick, just something because we like new people, but
Absolutely.
there's definitely a difference between the standard version and the pro version.
Huge
Well,
difference.
first off, Jeff, welcome to the fam, right? And second, I would say really consider if what you're getting out of the standard plan is everything that you need. Because some of the best features that we're constantly talking about, like the fact that I had the ability to bring up to 10 guests all live onto my stream just a couple of weeks ago, and the fact that all 6 of us are on here right now is one of those pro features in the interview mode. And the
Mhm.
interview mode is probably the biggest thing that makes Ecamm so easy when it comes to doing a lot of things beyond just the scope of what you're doing for yourself. So
Mhm.
let's say you want to do an interview and you have an opportunity to interview someone, you will have that ability to send them a simple link and have them join you, whether it's a live stream like this or completely private, right? Where it's not being broadcast at all. It
Mhm.
also gives you the ability to record that conversation so that you can give it to the person who called in as a copy if they want to repurpose it in any way, but also to extract the most out of the conversation, giving you the ability to review it and see that as a video content file that you can go back to as a resource to get the information that we're talking about on that conversation. And that's just literally scratching the surface on one of the many features of
Mhm.
pro comparative to standard. But
Yeah, but go ahead. Go ahead. You
does
go.
what's in the context of what you're doing. But I would highly recommend looking into the pro aspect, because all the key benefits of what makes this so awesome, like for me, I do remote podcast production. So that same link allows me to have 2 people call into my computer and I'm not even on screen. I am just producing and I'm doing all the button pressing in the background so that I can concentrate on that and letting my guest concentrate on the conversation. And because I'm the producer of the podcast, I'm also recording that directly onto my computer, which gives me the files that I can then edit into the podcast right away without having to ask them for an extra download or an extra step. So there's so many things that are built in as convenience factors into the pro. And depending on your situation, I would recommend it, but just look into it, because you might be just shooting yourself in the foot if you decide to go with the standard and you really looking to get that next level with the pro.
Yeah.
I love it. So, guys, if you are not connected with Louise, or Mr. Camera Junkie, as he's otherwise known, when it comes to details, he talks and does a lot. I use him for cameras. Okay, so we talk about cameras all the time. Definitely Sony cameras. He has all the details on that. If you ever want to just kind of dig down into the weeds on Sony cameras and what's going on with cameras and this and that and all, he is the guy to talk to. Okay, so whether it's on a live stream or just inbox him, he is the person that not only does he like to do this in front of the camera, but he does it behind the scenes as well. And I really appreciate that about you, Louise. Always being available to answer a question. That being said, I want to round it up with this question. Well, first, Angel, Logan, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I see you in the comments, and I do appreciate Paul putting up the difference between the standard and the pro as a link. So, Jeff, you can check that out as well. Coming up in the new year, do you have any kind of goals or plans that you've set for your content, Louise, in the next coming year?
Oh, yes. There's a lot of change coming, because I guess to touch on something that we were speaking about earlier, I guess about challenges, right? One of the biggest challenges for me is that I feel that content creation is almost like a power source or an energy amount, right, of creative juices. And
Mm.
because I am doing edits for Ecamm and other creators on the platform, it almost feels like my creative juices are being diminished, but not for my own content, which I bet Eden could relate to that because she's creating for Camo. And that's why you would say, like, not so much for myself, because when you go to tap into that energy source, you see that it's been diminished with everything that you've been doing throughout the week. So I would have to say that is the biggest thing that I've needed to learn and work on. But because of it, I'm highly motivated, I guess, by recognizing that that is a situation and now putting that extra effort into my own productions and my own content. So there's going to be a lot of things. First thing that I'm going to be doing in this year is January is coming Podfest. So as a podcast producer, I'm going to be putting more of out there to branch out and network as far as a producer of podcasts, so that I can, once again, with the Ecamm Pro version, be able to remote produce from my location in Miami, even though I'll be communicating with people all around the world. The other aspect is digital products, right? Like digital
products. Come on.
And that's the next step for me that I'm really going to be focusing on as well, because that intellectual property, you know, the name Mr. Camera Junkie, I'm going to be working on a series of camera guides. So it's going to be Mr. Camera Junkie's camera guide to this camera, so on and so forth, and
That's
have
cool.
those downloadable, you know, purchasable products on my, you know, like on my platform that will continue to build revenue even while I sleep, right? The digital products are the next step to really branching out and doing this for yourself, so that, you know, the work that you put in one time could then multiply and reproduce for you over and over again.
So well said, man.
Hell yeah, Luis.
Dude, go for it, man.
That's cool.
I love that.
That's awesome.
I'm going to be hitting you guys up for some help. So just letting you know ahead.
I'm down. So yeah, I'm down. I just love to see people kind of bet on themselves. So I'm such a huge fan of that, man. You in my opinion, you've already won, because you've recognized the gap and you're filling it, and you're taking a bet on you, man. So yeah, if somebody out there is going to get those guides, they're going to be like, dang, I got to find this guy.
To add to it, which is I'm also very grateful because I've been able to create for other creators, including Ecamm. And what that has done is that it's allowed me to sharpen and hone skills. So when I do actually start putting on my own content, you will see like the increase in, you know, like productivity and overall feel, because it looks like it's jumped leaps and bounds because I've actually still been putting in the work. I feel like I'm a sous chef, right? And I'm using Ecamm's ingredients right now. But then when I come to get onto my own content, I already have the skills so that I can make the perfect meal.
I love it. I love it.
Very
Hey,
nice.
Kevin, let me say this real quick. Stressed out, stress-free. Jeff is so funny talking about he's hungry. Shouts out to you. He says, Louise, digital products is definitely the way to go. And I think it is as well. And if you had a camera guide from Mr. Camera Junkie, like who else would you listen to, right?
Yeah,
it's to
real talk.
Mr. Camera Junkie. Kevin, any kind of strategy or goal that you have set for 2024, since you're knocking down all of these big-time goals in 23?
Oh, I don't know about that. I hopefully will be co-writing a book with another friend. We've been talking about it, and he brought it up, and I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So that's kind of cool. As a video guy that doesn't read very many books, I think it's ironic that I wrote a book. I'll just throw that out there.
Hey, somebody's got to write them, right?
But, you know, I wanted to say something. Louise was talking about one of the things that I love about this, and if people are watching this, I mean, you can actually support other creators and not see it as competition. I mean, Louise and I are kind of in the same space. He's much better than me. We're in the same space. But you know what, dadgummit, I want his guides and his stuff to do well. I want everybody on this panel to do well, and I think that's just unique. You know, I mean, competition is fine. It's like if he gets one out there before I do, that's great. But I mean, you know, and I'm not saying this to promote the book, but you know, Ross Brand, Live Streaming Universe, I approached him about writing the forward. I was excited he said yes, because I told him, I said, Ross, I didn't have an option two. You were kind of it. And the fact and then I felt like a dork because he was promoting it more than me. I mean, he was like sending me screenshots going, dude, look what it's doing. You're number 3 in the UK. And I'm like, where do you find this stuff? And I'm like, okay, maybe I need to get on Amazon and look a little bit more. But the fact that he was such a huge support.
Come on.
And I don't know if I'm answering your question. Maybe I get off on a tangent, but you know what? That's part of creating.
It is
the community among the creators of any size, that we can love each other and support each other and cheer each other on, rather than just like, well, how come he got to do something I didn't get to do? Well, then why don't you get a fire on your butt and try it?
Come on.
I mean, let's do it. So anyway, we can pass the plate now, I guess, and sing a song. But anyway, that's it. I just, I actually want to strip down my productions a lot. Coming from TV background, it's very easy for me to overproduce. And then I get caught up in the junking up the video. And then it's like, well, what did it mean to anybody? And so, video production leaning or video podcast leaning more into that, where literally I'm just talking like this and not worrying about the edits and the graphics and all that crap, and just connecting on that level that only really video and even podcast can do in the ear. So that's it for me. Sorry I took so long on that. But.
No. So necessary, man. Great stuff.
And it was great. And out of that wisdom, I'm hoping that people will hear it, because we can get caught up in the bells and whistles and turning and transitions and all of that. And your audience is like, we just really want the information. One of the things that I decided to do a long time ago with the stream show was kind of just cut the countdown. Now, I'm only able to do that because of Ecamm, because it's a trusted service. It works well. Like when you hit the button, you are live. Every software is not like that. There's a reason why you have a countdown, because you need everything to connect. Well, Ecamm does that better than some of the others. And basically, when someone re-watches this, then in the replay, they're getting right into the content of us introducing ourselves. But they get us talking and not the countdown. And that's me, and that is something that I like to do, and it's my preference. But it could, not take anything away from any countdown. But that's just some of the things that I saw over time with wisdom that will make it different. I know we got tons of people in the comments, but I want to continue to wrap this up. And Jeff, I don't think I asked you that question. Goals, plan, strategy for 2024.
Yeah, for me, some of you may have met her at Creator Camp. Liz Wilcox is this like email person who is just blown up from her membership that she does. I think it's $9 a month. So I'm focused on email, because that's going to allow me to scale. We talked about relationships versus, always just going after the dollar. But for me, having more products that I teach with and I can sell helps me help people at scale. So that's what I'm going to try to do, is more. I'm still going to do the one-on-one stuff. I'm still a big believer in masterminds. I have a couple that I've gone for over 5 years. We've been together as a group. So those, I still believe in that, but helping more people that I can. And the only way to do that is put out products that mean something to somebody. And then the way to get them to those products is build my email list.
Love it.
I like that.
That's cool.
The email list is definitely the way to go. And people follow Jeff. Like you want to be ahead of the curve. He's going to tell you where the curve is and where to get ahead of it.
Because I've already gone in the ditch. This is the reason. That's why. I'm in the ditch, and I need you to pull me out, Strick. I need you to pull me out.
He's not in the ditch, and you gotta love his personality too. Oh my goodness, check this out. So Jeremy's asking, is countdowns a thing in the past? Absolutely not. No. You need to know why you are using them. All right, there's a reason why people use countdown in the beginning of us doing live streaming. We needed all these systems to connect. It's less of that now, but some systems are not as quick to connect as others, as Ecamm is. And again, you need to have a reason why. My reasoning to not doing it is for the replay value of the video. I just need 2 or 3 more people to watch this video than others. So if I can get right to the content, I'm hoping that I can get more engagements from point one and people don't have to fast forward through a countdown. That is it for me. It's a cheat code. Okay?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to do what you can to kind of get ahead of the curve. Eden, 2024, do you have any goals, any kind of things you're working on to do?
Yeah, I do. And just on the last note on the countdown, something that I want to say is I think it's like fascinating how our tools drive sort of the elements that we use in content. It's something that I could talk about all day just because I think it's like interesting how it's like, I'm not saying countdown timers are a thing of the past, but they were used much more often in the past because, the streaming platforms needed more time and you needed to know whether you were actually live. And so it's just such an interesting thing for me to think about. But goals.
How fast it has changed. I mean, that was 2 years, 2 years later that you can just press a button and you are absolutely live. And I watch the show and replay all the time. And to be honest with you, I didn't do something that I had been doing the past shows. I actually will be watching Ecamm. Ecamm does a countdown. I noticed that I could hear my countdown in the video. I could hear myself go 2, 1, and then start talking. So I did not do that today. I just absolutely started talking. And just because I've been in radio, okay, you may miss my first 2 words, but I'm actually repeating those things a couple of times. And then I go into, okay, I did radio for like 15 years. There is a rhyme and a reason to how we do all this stuff. And you just need, you need to test, need to watch your videos, see what works. Sometimes you make mistakes. I say, then and I mispronounce words. I can't change that, but I can change how I get in and out of questions, how we pull up things on. You didn't ask me that question. I'm sorry. I just started going.
No, but I
love it, Strick.
actually,
I love it.
I love it because I have something to add too. So like I don't have experience in radio, but my start in podcasting was alongside sports radio professionals.
Gotcha.
So even though this was a recorded product, we can edit it in post. I was trained for silence to not be a thing. We did not ever let anything sit. There's no such thing as like
dead air.
Dramatic pause, because that's dead air. And that was just how I was conditioned, because that's who I did content with for the first 3 years that I did content. It was all with sports radios guys, professionals. So these days we know that there's value in like, a dramatic pause before delivering a point, or just letting the room sit while we're all digesting a thought. But it's because when we're live, people see that we're still here, that we're just thinking. It's dead air isn't as much of something that you just want to avoid like the plague, because you're not worried about someone just like flipping the channel, hearing dead air, and then be like, oh, well, there's no one on 890 the ticket right now. So, but to answer your question, to bring it back to the question that you did ask me, my goals for this upcoming year are actually very similar to Luis. Hearing Luis sort of talk about how, his having the realization that creating content for others can take all of your creative battery a lot of the time. So I'm working towards finding that balance for myself. And part of that is that I really want to incorporate more things that I like find from consuming other forms of content. So if we're just using like myself, for example, I'm the biggest basketball nerd ever. I have like 7 to 10 basketball / sports podcasts that I listen to. And I'm challenging myself in the coming year to see what I can like borrow from like sports radio, sports podcasting as like engagement techniques or show ideas that I can bring to my shows with Camo, or just shows that I want to do with myself, because I think that I learn and I gain so much inspiration from hearing content about something that like is not what I'm currently creating content about. I can't even, what is like even the term for that? Yeah, but I get so many ideas that, you're not going to see it from other creators that are creating content about like tech, for example. You're just not going to get someone that's like, you know, let's do like a power ranking or like, you know, a top 5 as much as these are like sort of like almost tropes that you hear in sports podcasting. But I think that there's a lot of ways that you can sort of cross-pollinate the content, to borrow a word from Kirk earlier, and see what magic you can make happen from like just different totally different industries and niches than like what you know.
It's stacking. It's not, it's so a lot of people look at niching down as like trying to whittle down to this other thing. But when you have multiple interests, as multi-passionate people, you have multiple interests. So as you stack those interests, you are still niching down, but it's actually just this very specific, unique thing. So I do a show called Morning Motivation and Media. And so people are like, how do you mix the two? It actually works. I did it as a test for a few, we're on episode 18 now, but it actually works. And I'm telling you, people are messaging from all over, just asking about, you know, different things. Oh, I didn't know you did motivation. I was like, well, I actually am a big fan of reflection. I like to reflect on my day. I like to reflect on my week and my month. At this time of year, I do a lot of reflection because that's how I innovate. That's how I get better. It's kind of like watching film for a live streamer or for a basketball, you know, a sports a professional. For us, it's going back and just reflecting. And as you reflect, you got a chance to see some trends. You get a chance to, you know, control some things. You get a chance to, quote unquote, make some tweaks and changes. But that coupled with media actually somehow works. It somehow works. And let me say this as well, because this whole conversation about,
hold on, Kirk, I want to interrupt you just 1 second because I want you to wrap
please
it up
do,
for us.
because you know I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Let me say this, Eden. If someone wants to know who you are as a content creator, show them this show. You have held your own with this list of guys on this show who are all heavy hitters in content creation themselves, and you have done an awesome job. I so very much thank you for coming on, because you're in a place that I think is well needed. We need more female content creators that, you know, willing to spend this time with the guys to bring your perspective to the table, because it's different and it's needed. Yep. And I always think, because I come from radio, so you'll have your straight guy, your host, you have your comedian guy, and you have your news girl, and all of those voices together made a great show. So I always try to bring in, especially when we have groups like this, females to kind of balance it out, and you have done an excellent job at doing that. So thank you for your time. And I'm just glad your hair is longer than Kevin's tonight. So I just wanted to be sure that point was made.
But I don't know if it's longer than the beard, though. Neither of them are.
I was going to say, is it longer than Jeff's beard? I don't know.
It takes so long to glue on.
I think he wins that. Yeah, hands down.
Yeah. So, Eden, people want to know how they can follow you really quick. I guess we'll do followings after Kirk. So, Kirk, if you can round it up, we'll do social media following so everybody will know how to get with folks, and we'll just end there.
So, for the new year, I've got a number of different things I'm working on. Definitely going to actually work on the book. That's a big thing for me. Just like Jeff said, email list is a huge thing for me as well. Really trying to kind of get that thing together. I am toying with some different types of content. I have a vertical series on the channel right now called What If, and they're sub 60 seconds. Actually, most of them are sub 30 seconds, and it just asks a really quick question, and that's been really good. Really, when I say really good, I mean it's been really good. And I think I'm not necessarily trying to reinvent. I'm just trying to kind of put some more things out there. At the end of the day, correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys completely disagree with this, but people subscribe because they want an answer, you know, they've gotten an answer and they know that they can come back and get more answers to that question. But ultimately they subscribe because they have found something in you that they resonate with. And
Right.
as I do more coaching sessions, as I do more one-on-ones, as I do masterminds, as I get a chance to speak on other people's platforms, many of you here, I've been able to collab with you in different ways. The thing that I keep on hearing back over and over is like, man, I just left motivated, Kirk. I just left motivated. Like, Kirk, you just motivate me. So I'm like, well, let me lean in. Let me lean into that. And so trying to lean into that more, that's what you're going to see a lot of in the coming year. Still going to be doing my how it all works thing, you know that. But I'm really going to be leaning into what others see in me, see of me. I want to be able to give them more of that. And I think I'm going to, we'll kind of see what that looks like. And I'm really excited about what 2024 holds, man. It's going to be phenomenal.
I think so too. So contacts. I guess, Kirk, you're the last one. Let's just start with you.
KirkRNugent.com. Go to KirkRNugent.com. Everything is there. It's between KirkRNugent.com or HowItAllWorks.com. And if you go to either one of those, it'll take you to the other. So, but yeah, the KirkRNugent.com is what I always say. So let's just stick with that. KirkRNugent.com and at KirkRNugent on pretty much all the socials. So yeah, excited to hear from you guys, man. If there's anything that I can do to, get somebody unstuck, to help somebody take that next step and get out of their own way to reach towards providing the value that they have to the world, then please don't hesitate to hit me up. I'd love to be able to work with you in that way.
Hit him up. Louise, how about you, sir? All right, you're on mute.
Thank you for that. I have Aiden in the background, so I was just trying to be careful.
We understand.
Well, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Mr. Camera Junkie. That's MR Camera Junkie, KIE. And you could just Google that name or pretty much put it on any social media platform of your choice. And this mug with this beard should pop up.
There you go. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, you can find me at Social Media News Live. And actually, I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. We are rebranding. It's not going to be Social Media News Live. In the near future, it's going to be Creator News Live because I think we talk about a lot more stuff. So you heard it here pretty much first. But you can find me on all the socials. JeffC.com. It's spelled S as in Sam, IEH, I before E, especially in C. That's how my mommy made me remember my name. So you can find me there. I'd love to talk with you.
And I have to always look at how I spell your name like 3 or 4 times. Like, did I put the I in the right place? Like, that's
right. I before E, especially in C. That's how you remember. Yeah.
There you go. I love it. And yes, that was breaking news for us, Gary. Thank you for hanging out with us. And Kevin, let me tell you something, Kevin, man. You got the whole lighting stuff set up right. I'm looking at this show. Man, you guys are making the stream show look good tonight. Kevin, how can people get in contact with you?
KevinColby.com. That's my main site. That's got everything on. YouTube is really my only core platform, and it's youtube.com at Kevin Colby. So those would be the 2 best places.
That's what's up. How about you, Miss Eden?
I am at Pikachu Lou on socials. I dropped that in the chat. I'm also behind at Cambo App YouTube channel. And if you search Eden Lou at Reincubate, you'll find me on LinkedIn. Happy to connect.
That's awesome. And of course, you can always get at me. I'm DJ Strick. I'm going to be here on most Sundays. I can't say every Sunday. Most Sunday nights, the stream show. In the description, it is strick.bio.link. You can contact me. It has all of my social media there. And a way to ask me a question right inside of that link as well. This has been a pleasure. I want to say to the summiters, thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Like, this has been a really, really big deal to me. Fun. I don't take it lightly that you can inbox somebody and say, hey, do you mind coming to hang out with me? And people always say yes, and you guys are always available. And this kind of makes Sunday nights go by so fast when we are all together.
Absolutely.
This is a great show.
Thank you for
great show. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, Eden, this will not be your last one. I'm calling you again for sure.
Please do. Please do. I love collabing. I live for collabing. I would rather have people on my show or do other people's shows than doing solo content. So yeah.
I feel the same way. I
Good.
feel the same way. But again, guys, thank you so very much. Next Sunday, we're doing a holiday show. So it is Christmas Eve. We're just going to be doing some reviews. I will probably be reaching out to some of you guys to send me some videos to say happy holidays. It's going to be one of those kind of shows. So be on the lookout. Next Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hey, this is DJ Strick, and I would like to thank you for watching another edition of The Stream Show.